This salamander does not have lungs. This is a black-chinned red salamander I found while hiking Pisgah National Forest, and this was a really cool find because not only are they endemic to the southeast, they're also considered vulnerable, so you won't be fortunate enough to see them on every hike. Black-chinned red salamanders belong to the family Plethodontidae, which are the lungless salamanders. These salamanders instead actually breathe through their skin. This may have been my favorite find from the City Nature Challenge. The City Nature Challenge is an annual 4-day event that takes place around the world at the end of April and consists of individuals documenting the various species they find, but more on that in a bit. My personal goal for today is to document 100 species. Now, I frequently make observations while I'm already out exploring by foot, bike, or water, but this is my first time going out with the sole purpose of making observations. With that being said, I base my goal of 100 observations on absolutely nothing besides it sounded like a good goal. I'd like to note I didn't want to make 100 observations of the same thing and call it a day, so while I did set my goal as 100 observations and not 100 species, I was trying to document as many different species as I could. If you're curious about how well I did or didn't do, be sure to stick around to the end. I'm not going to share everything I found because that would take a while and probably would get a little boring, but I will share some of my favorites, like that black-chinned red salamander. Got an American sycamore tree. You can tell by the bark pattern, it's pretty unique. Found another cardinal. I just saw a blue heron fly through the trees, but I didn't see where it landed. So I'm hoping it just landed right by the river. There are a lot of different species of trillium around here, so I'm not entirely sure what this one is. Now let's get back to how the City Nature Challenge actually works. You participate by uploading your observations to the iNaturalist website or in the app. Most observations are photos. You can, and often should, upload multiple pictures with various angles or features of whatever you're documenting, but audio files are also accepted. For this eastern towhee, I actually uploaded both a photo and the audio from this clip, because while the visual wasn't great, especially grabbing a still from the video, the song itself was fairly clear. Any observation that's uploaded during the 4-day window and within the boundary of a participating city is automatically added to an iNaturalist project that keeps track of all observations for that particular city. Now, the term city in this case is a little loose. For example, today I'm hiking part of the Art Loeb Trail in Pisgah National Forest, which is definitely not a city, but it falls within the boundary of western North Carolina, so all my observations from today counted towards the city of western North Carolina. And even if you don't live in or near a city boundary, if you'd like to participate, you can still join the global project on iNaturalist. Found another trillium. Still finding lots of violets out. This trillium is potentially jeweled wake robin, but I'm not 100% certain on that. This tree has some interesting bark. Don't know what it is at the moment, but I'm hoping I can ID it once I get home. It's very tall. First mountain laurel blooms I found this year. That's what a mountain laurel bloom looks like once it's open. Potentially giant leopard moth caterpillar. Found my first eastern newt of the year, more specifically red-spotted newt. I love these little guys. Tiny little thing. Hiked a bit further up in elevation. There's a ton of blooming mountain laurels. After the 4-day observation period, there is an identification period. This gives you time to actually upload and ID the observations to the best of your ability, as well as help ID for others and have others ID for you. The way iNaturalist works is you need at least 2 IDs to reach research grade. So, for example, I ID'd the salamander from the beginning of the video as a black-chinned red salamander. That slug just has his head in one of the little fungi. But it didn't reach research grade until a second person confirmed my ID. Also, there were some observations where I was unable to ID down to species level. For instance, I could ID this as a magnolia, but no further. Then, during the identification period, 2 others were able to ID this down to species level, and it did achieve research grade. I'm not very good at bird ID based off of feather alone, but I've had some success uploading feathers to iNaturalist before. This came from a species of magnolia, I'm not sure which one. In past years, there's been an issue with a small portion of users doing things like going to a plant nursery and taking pictures of every plant there to try to get their city to the top of the leaderboard. So this year, the organizers of the City Nature Challenge really tried to emphasize quality observations over quantity. In the case of citizen science, which is really what the City Nature Challenge is, quality doesn't mean stunning photos that belong in Nat Geo. It just needs to be good enough to hopefully be able to ID. So a landscape photo with multiple species of plants with no clear focus isn't great, but multiple photos of one particular tree is. In addition, captive and cultivated species were not counted towards the totals for this year, so your pet dog wouldn't count, but a squirrel at your local park would. Likewise, a tree planted along a sidewalk wouldn't count since it was put there by humans, but any lichen, moss, or bugs found on the tree would. Found a big mushroom. There's a salamander back here. Hi! Hello, guy. I'm not sure what kind he is. Or I was just trying to dig out the mushroom to get a better picture to ID it. That's cool. Put some leaves back over top loosely to give him some more coverage back. I believe this is fan club moss. As I was hiking along the trail, I was moving up in elevation, and while I was finding different species at higher elevations, I felt I was finding more at lower elevations, particularly near the river, so I decided to head back that way. Found some American cancer root. This is parasitic, that's why there's no green. It doesn't make its own energy. There's just a 5-line skink that ran up this log. Not sure if I'll be able to find it. So I believe this is the same species I've already recorded today, but I'm not certain, so I'm gonna get a few more shots. Alright, I just saw another 5-line skink run around this tree. What do you think the chances are I'll actually be able to find it this time? Okay, remember those purple flowers I walked by first thing this morning that were like drooping down? These are them now. Like, this is the same flower. The very first thing I said at the start of this video was, this salamander does not have lungs. Well, guess what? This dragonfly doesn't have any lungs either. Insects as a whole don't have lungs. They need a less complicated system due to their small size. I watched this common whitetail for a while because I thought the pulsing looked interesting, but it was really just breathing. The pulsing helps pump oxygen in and out of its spiracles, which are the pores that they breathe through. I know I've already recorded several trillium. I can't remember if I got the species or not. This might be the same as that first one I recorded down by the river. One of my favorite finds after making it back to the river were these tiger swallowtails. This particular time of year, both eastern tiger swallowtails and Appalachian tiger swallowtails are present in this region, and they can be pretty difficult to tell apart. Generally speaking, Appalachian tiger swallowtails tend to be larger than this brood of eastern tiger swallowtails, so I believe I was able to capture both species on camera. So, how many observations did I end up making? 98! If I had gotten those skinks on camera, or if I had bothered to keep count, I absolutely could have hit 100 observations. And at this time I have 67 species, but not everything is identified 2 species yet. So for example, I have several trillium that are likely different species, but I cannot confidently ID them. In about 2 or 3 videos from now, I'll be sharing my trip to the Smokies where I spent 3 days herping for the first time, so if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that one. If you'd like to support the channel further, be sure to check out my merch and membership options on Fourth Wall, and if you've made it this far, I really appreciate it, so here's a bonus fun fact. Red salamanders, while originally thought to be a harmless mimic of the red eft, do also have toxin in their skin. Along with the spring salamander and mud salamanders, they form a Mullerian mimicry complex, which means they all look kind of similar and are all poisonous, so if a predator learns one is bad, they all benefit.